Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're looking at something most of us use every single day, our digital calendar.
hmm
But what if those little colored blocks, the ones scheduling your meetings and reminders, could actually tell you something much deeper about your life?
hmm
We're exploring how you might use AI, specifically Google's NotebookLM, not just for research, but for some really personal understanding. What if your calendar could reveal where your time really goes, highlight patterns you never noticed?
Yeah, it's a fascinating idea.
And we're focusing on a pretty unconventional use of Notebook LM. It's usually for big documents, right?
Sure.
Research papers, that sort of thing.
Exactly. But this deep dive is all about how one person took their own Google Calendar data, kind of messy personal stuff,
Mhm.
and turned it into this amazing daily log and self-reflection tool using Notebook LM. So our mission today is really to unpack that.
Yeah.
How do they do it? What did they actually find out? What's the AI doing behind the scenes? And maybe most importantly, what does this all mean for, productivity, self-awareness, seeing your life differently?
That sounds really interesting, turning raw data into a story. But okay, first hurdle, how do you even get your calendar into an AI like Notebook LM? It doesn't just sync up, does it?
No, no, not directly. That's the clever bit they figured out first.
Mhm.
Notebook LM likes structured stuff like
Hmm.
PDFs or Google Docs,
Right.
but your calendar usually exports as a .icss file, which is just it's basically code, raw text.
Okay, so it's not compatible right off the bat.
Not really. So you can't just upload that .ics file
Wait,
directly.
so what's the workaround? How did they bridge that gap?
It was actually pretty straightforward once they figured it out. First step, you export your Google Calendar
Hmm.
from the website, settings, export. That gives you the .ic file.
Mhm.
Now, the key thing is don't double-click it because your computer will probably try to open it in like Apple Calendar or Outlook.
Ah, right, and just show you events?
Exactly. Instead, you need to open that .icss file with a plain text editor. Text edit on Mac, Notepad on Windows, something like that.
Okay, so you see the raw code,
You see the raw code, and then you copy everything, all of it.
the whole thing.
The whole thing, and paste it into a blank Google Doc. That's the main way described.
Huh.
Apparently, you could also use an online converter to make a PDF from the .ics, but the Google Doc method seemed simpler.
So you end up with this one huge Google Doc that's just all your calendar entries, basically.
Exactly. One long, continuous text document of your calendar history, which Notebook LM can understand.
I bet that document gets pretty big, though.
Oh yeah, huge. In the example we looked at, the user's doc was 662 pages long.
Wow. 662 pages.
And that was just dated going back to when they started using Google Calendar regularly around 2022, I think. So if you've used it for longer,
Yours could be enormous.
easily. And yeah, you have to give Notebook LM a bit of time to, chew through all that data once you upload it. It needs to index it.
Okay, so it takes a while, but then the AI magic happens. What does Notebook LM actually do with this massive text dump?
Right. This is where it gets really cool. It takes that raw, kind of chaotic data and transforms it into something readable, something useful, specifically a daily log.
A daily log, like what you did each day.
Exactly. A
Yeah.
chronological record of your activities
Okay.
day by day. So instead of you trying to manually piece together your week from hundreds of entries,
The AI does it for you.
precisely, the user started with a pretty direct prompt, something like, can you turn my calendar data into a daily log-style summary for the past few weeks? List what I did each day in a readable format, including times and types of events.
And did it work straight away? What did that first summary look like?
It worked remarkably well right off the bat. It accurately summarized about a month's worth of data, pulling out the times, the event types, putting it in a really clear, easy-to-read format.
Mhm.
And there was a funny bit, too. It actually pointed out that a lot of the recent tasks were, well, they were tasks about using Notebook LM itself for this project.
Huh. That's brilliant. Sort of self-aware.
Kind of, yeah. It picked up on that pattern, almost like it was acknowledging its own role.
Okay, so it can summarize, but the real power must be in asking follow-up questions, right?
Yeah.
Digging deeper.
Absolutely. That's where you unlock the real insights. The users started asking things like, what types of events take up most of my time each week?
Good question.
Or which days tend to be my busiest? And even how much time am I actually spending on breaks compared to work?
And Notebook LM could answer those accurately.
Yeah, with impressive accuracy.
Mm-hmm.
It gave clear breakdowns, pulled out specific examples from the calendar data to back it up.
Like what? Any examples?
Well, one really interesting one was that it identified a recent shift. It noticed the user was spending much more time on professional work commitments.
Okay.
Whereas just a bit earlier, their weekdays were mostly packed with academic stuff, like classes and study.
Oh, is that right?
Spot on. It was summer break for the user, so they had just transitioned from college work to more professional writing work. NotebookLM saw that pattern in the data.
That's incredible. It's not just listing, it's analyzing trends over time.
Exactly. And crucially, it cites its sources.
Ah, right. You mentioned that.
Yeah, so if it makes a claim, like Mondays are your busiest,
Mm.
you can hover over that statement,
Mm-hmm.
and it shows you the exact calendar entries it used to figure that out.
That builds a lot of confidence, I imagine. You can check its work.
Totally. It's not just a black box. You can verify the insights. And even just those initial summaries and answers were apparently really helpful for the user to just get a handle on where time was going.
Yeah, I can see that. Like a personal time audit.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Helping figure out how to maybe tweak the routine moving forward.
Okay, so that's the analytical side. But you mentioned something earlier that sounded even more profound. The audio overview.
Ah, yes. This is where it went from being like a useful tool to something kind of transformative for the user.
Yeah.
So NotebookLM has this feature where it can take your source documents, in this case, the massive calendar doc, and generate an audio summary, like a mini podcast about your document with 2 AI voices discussing it.
A podcast about your calendar, generated by AI.
Exactly. And when the user did this with their entire calendar history, well, they said, hearing my calendar read out loud changed the way I see my time and myself.
Pretty powerful stuff.
Wow. I'm trying to imagine that. What was it like? What did the AI hosts talk about?
It wasn't just a list of appointments. The AI hosts pulled out these really high-level insights and patterns across years of data.
Like major life events.
Yeah, exactly. They noted specific things like key exams the user had taken, the exact date college started, things you might forget the specifics of.
Mhm.
They even highlighted big shifts, like mentioning a point in 2023 where the user's focus changed dramatically when they started a writing career and also their sophomore year of high school, apparently.
Wait, high school and a writing career starting around the same time. That's quite a range. It sounds like it. The AI picked up on these major life transitions documented implicitly in the calendar.
Did it look forward to or just backward?
It looked forward to. The AI hosts apparently commented that the user's calendar exploded beyond 2025, mostly with activities related to tech journalism.
And that was accurate.
Completely accurate, according to the user. It reflected their actual plans and focus. It also identified common meeting types, the kinds of articles they were working on, even specific companies they had briefings with.
It's like it synthesized a narrative from the raw data.
It really did. The user said it was a great way to realize how far I've come and reflect on the achievements that are just sort of quietly locked away in the calendar otherwise.
That's a really unique way to reflect. Did the AI pick up on any, like, quirks or funny habits?
Yes, this was a great detail. The user apparently has a habit of time blocking everything, not just meetings, but breaks, showers, even naps.
Okay, why?
Their philosophy was, if it's not on the calendar, it doesn't exist. Standard time blocking practice may be taken to an extreme.
And the AI noticed this.
It noticed, and the AI host didn't just note it. They actually commended the user for scheduling frequent breaks to stay grounded.
No way. That's amazing. It understood the intent behind the habit.
It seemed to. It
Yeah.
felt very personal and insightful. And less surprisingly, maybe, it also confirmed that Mondays were, in fact, the user's busiest day.
So, pulling all this together, what's the bigger picture here? What does this experiment really tell us?
Well, I think it has some pretty significant real-world implications, actually. It's not just a neat tech demo.
Right.
First, the practical side. Time management and productivity. Getting these kinds of detailed insights helps you, as the user put it, figure out exactly where my time was going and then shape up my routine to use it better. It's data-driven self-improvement.
Makes sense. We all wonder where the time goes. This actually shows you.
Exactly. Second, there's this deeper level of self-reflection and personal growth.
Yeah.
It turns your calendar from just a schedule into a kind of personal narrative.
Mm-hmm.
It lets you see how far I've come, reflect on achievements. It provides this unique lens on your own life story, told through your daily actions.
It's like an objective perspective on your own journey.
Precisely. Third, it really highlights how we can use AI tools in unconventional ways. NotebookLM wasn't designed for personal calendar analysis, right?
No, it was for research documents.
Right. But this shows its versatility.
Mm.
It makes you wonder, how else could we creatively apply these powerful AI tools to our own personal data to learn things about ourselves?
That's a great point, thinking outside the box with AI.
Yeah. And finally, There's that emotional impact the user described, calling the audio overview personal, thoughtful, and kind of surreal.
Surreal, yeah, I can imagine.
Hearing your life summarized by AI helps you realize, wow, just how much of my life is captured in those tiny colored blocks. It makes the mundane feel significant, maybe. It offers a perspective you just can't get scrolling through month after month manually.
So wrapping up, this deep dive really shows the power of taking your own, maybe slightly messy, personal data and using AI like NotebookLM to find genuinely meaningful insights.
Mm-hmm.
Insights for better time management, sure, but also for deeper self-awareness, reflection on your journey. It's pretty profound, actually. It turns your past into a roadmap for the future, in a way.
Absolutely. And it leaves us with a really provocative thought, I think. Consider all the personal data you generate every day.
Yeah.
A lot. Your calendar, sure, but also photos, notes, messages, maybe even your browsing habits. What other stories, what patterns, what forgotten achievements are just sitting there, hidden in that data?
Waiting to be uncovered.
Exactly.
Right.
What more could you learn about yourself, about your life's path, if you could just export that digital life and find the right AI tool to help you? Well, let's hope you listen to it.
That is a powerful thought. Makes you want to try it. If you've been listening and this sounds intriguing, honestly, maybe give it a shot. Export your calendar, try NotebookLM. As the user said, trust me on this, you never know what aha moments might be waiting for you.